am Phosiso Sola. I'm the Regional Coordinator for CIFOR in East and Southern Africa, based in Nairobi. Currently, we have huge challenges in East and Southern Africa. One major issue is the heavy reliance on forests. You find that about 60% to 70% of our populations are rural, and they really rely on forests, especially for firewood and energy. And besides that, we are an agriculture-based region, so everyone in the rural area is trying to produce some crops, and this puts a lot of pressure on our forests. And we have lots of land use conversion where most of the forests are being lost to agricultural production. And I just mentioned the issue of energy. Energy supply is a major challenge. We also have between 50 and 90% in some countries of the population relying on firewood and charcoal as a major source of energy. So that also puts a lot of pressure on our forests. The third thing is that our forest industries are so poorly developed. We are extracting and exporting primary products, and this means that we are losing a lot of forest products but not getting a really high economic return. Those are the major three issues that are faced by our forests right now. The major opportunities that I see are actually developing the forest industries. We need to have research that can inform how we can improve trade in forest products. We also need to have some strategies and interventions on valuing the forest ecosystems to actually put a total value on a forest versus or for agriculture, so that when people want to clear forests for agriculture, they know how much they are losing in terms of catchment management, in terms of rangeland management, in terms of carbon sequestration. We don't have that data. We don't have those values. So if we could improve on that, I think we can save some forests in East and Southern Africa. It's about trying to increase economic returns from the forest. If people are making more money from the forest, they wouldn't need to have bigger fields and invest more in agriculture. So if we could actually make our forest industries earn more for the local population, they will not clear the forest. But right now, the way the industries are structured, the local populations are not benefiting much. Therefore, they don't see the value of the forest. In terms of how CIFOR can play a role, I think there is already a lot to build on. CIFOR has been doing research for a long time in East and Southern Africa, especially on the Miombo woodlands and especially in the livelihoods sector. We had a project, the dryland forest project, and there was a lot of socio-economic research that was done, which we can build on. And right now we have projects going on in Uganda, we have projects going on in Ethiopia, in Kenya, and in Tanzania, and Mozambique, Zambia. So we can actually build on those small case studies to inform policymakers. What we need to do, I think now, is to develop a fora where we can bring the people together to share information, to access our information, and also catalyze a process of policy reform and a process of improving extension messages. Definitely there is. I have actually attended a couple of conferences where we discuss and we come to a point where we say, I think there is need for this information, and it's not readily available. And I think it's there somewhere in CIFOR, and what we need is just to make it available and build on it to make it more current. Yeah, for the stakeholders. I know right now there is a process of strengthening the forest industry, the forest timber associations within the region, and for them to develop and be viable, they will need lots of information. They need lots of information about the forest, especially the inventories in the forest, how much of the timber is there, but they also need to know where the markets are and what the products needed in those markets are. It's actually looking at how much we depend on the forest for livelihood, and also for environmental services. If you go now to most of Eastern Southern Africa rural areas, there is so much degradation because we have lost the forest. And you find that even the agricultural crop fields are so poor because we have lost a lot of the nutrients that are within the soil, which could have actually come from the forest as people were using manure and from the dry leaves that they were collecting. And most of the Eastern Southern Africa is very dry. You have lots of pastoralists. They depend on the rangelands, which most of the time also they have to graze in the forest. So, and I see how people struggle when those forests are lost. My wish actually is to get to a point where forests can compete with agriculture. I know it's a very big wish, where forests can actually compete with agriculture, where somebody has to make a decision to say, I would rather not have crop production, but keep the forest because it has more value. That's my wish.